Hello, everyone. Uh, this is going to be a rant video about politician responsibility. I'm going to be focusing in on Donald Trump and specifically uh, January 6th. So let's get right into it. So, in the September 10th debate, when he was asked whether or not he regretted what he did on that day, he quite blatantly dodges the question and doesn't really answer it, which is really concerning. Um, Especially because, you know, that was on our capital. And he was the president at the time, and we've never had something like that happen before. And basically, what he did to quote unquote answer the question, in which he didn't answer the question, he basically just threw Nancy Pelosi under the bus and the Washington governor under the bus as well. Um, I don't know why really he's doing this. I mean, I know why. I feel like it just it's not my fault. Put the blame on someone else. Um, but that doesn't really solve the issue for many people because I mean it's kind of clear, like purely objectively. I feel like if you live outside of the U.S. and you're not like affected by what goes on over here, you can probably get a good sense of who was actually you know responsible for it. But it's very interesting that he decided to, I guess, do that. Uh, for me, that hurts his credibility because I mean, it's kind of part of his character, but to do that on the debate, which a lot of people are watching, it shows that he's he's incapable of admitting any type of fault for what he does. And like we need that from politicians. Uh I don't know why we give Trump and politicians this leeway of not taking responsibility for their actions. And more specifically, I notice that politicians that people support, they usually allow that leeway of, you know, oh well, like it's not really their fault, or like giving them that space to claim that they didn't, it's not really their fault, or it's someone else's fault, or maybe in some way, in some alternate parallel universe, that it is their fault but not really. um but I don't know why it's 3 years later, almost four, really. And he still hasn't changed his perspective on this, and can't seems incapable of self-reflection, or reflecting on what he did, what he said, and just denying, in a sense, you know his actions, and not, you know which is the point of the video, taking responsibility, which I don't know why he only takes responsibility when something good happens, which, I mean, of course, like who wouldn't do that? But like, he's a politician, he was president, he's running for president again, and for him to blatantly show that he doesn't want to take responsibility for a terrible event in U.S. history, that a lot of the evidence points directly towards him, causing it, or having a pretty big hand in what happened. It's really concerning for, like, from a voter perspective, and just like how he still has such a big platform despite not being able to, you know, admit any type of fault at all with this. Or like, I haven't honestly seen him admit any type of fault, which is amazing. He's like 78 now. Like I've never ever seen a clip of Donald Trump admitting fault for anything. Uh, I imagine he probably did, like back in the 90s or something like that. Probably not since he started his political career has he. Yeah, but I imagine, before entering politics, he probably was capable of doing this, but, I guess maybe, it's kind of gotten to him and, maybe all the support and stuff, maybe that's affected him in this sense, but I don't know, maybe I'm just reaching on this, but next, he should know his crowd, in which he's proud of his rallies, as he said or alluded to in his in the debate. Um, Now, when he tweeted the tweet, the big protest in DC on January 6th, be there, be wild. Um, I feel like he out of any like recent politician in U.S. history, or like probably since like 2000, he should know his crowd and his supporters. Like they are they're pretty, you know what's the word, fervent believers in him. So when he basically whatever he says, he's gonna have a lot of people, you know, taking his words for what they are, which, you know, seemingly people did. So I don't know how he can still try and shy away from taking responsibility for what happened. When he tweeted that, he should know his crowd because of his rallies, and he I'm sure he sees all the stuff, you know, people supporting him. It's like telling a bunch of like, I don't want to relate the some Trump supporters to like children, but I don't mean to do that, but it's kind of the best example I can give here. It's like telling a bunch of like kids in like a kindergarten classroom to say, "Oh, like do whatever you want for like the next 30 minutes," like, and then try and act like nothing bad's gonna happen. Like, of course, something's probably gonna happen. Some kid's probably gonna get punched in the face or something, but um, he should know that the platform he has is very big. So you need to be careful of saying stuff like that, especially in his position, which is why I still struggle to fully grasp like how he still like can't see that he at least had a hand in what happened, even if you don't fully believe that it was like 100% on him, which I wouldn't say like 100%, like he's not like mind controlling people, but like he, you know, you don't just say something like that with the crowd he has. If Biden said that, like, would people have would the January 6th like storm on the Capitol happen? Uh, Honestly, I would probably say no, but like that's too much speculation. But yeah, whatever. So like he should really know his crowd. So I don't know why, and I haven't, you know, followed every little piece on this January 6th thing, but I'm sure he probably denied some of his tweets or whatever. Although I don't know how you could do that, but whatever. And then the final point I want to get out is related to the childhood. Now, I don't know if this video will reach a lot of people. I kind of hope so, kind of hope not, because this definitely isn't going to be my best piece, if you can't tell from my voice. But in our youth, and particularly mine, like going through school, and I'm sure like probably most everyone watching, if anyone watches, at some point, and definitely at multiple points, I feel like you are told that you are responsible for your own actions. And how Trump was such a big platform, all of his supporters, his big name, you know, wealthy, all these things. I don't know why this just like doesn't apply to him. Like, was he ever told this? Like, I'm sure he was told this at some point, unless this is like a recent thing. You're responsible for your own actions. Like, it's not just him. I mean, he's a pretty big example of this, but it's like politicians as a whole. Like, why do we have politicians that have such a big platform that are utterly incapable of taking responsibility for what they did, whether good or bad? Like, we should strive to have people that are leading us, governing us, that are capable of, I guess, enacting these childhood, I guess, legacies in a sense. Like, I don't know why these things in our youth that we're taught just don't apply to us in adulthood. And it's really concerning, to be honest. Then what's the point of teaching us in our youth? Is it just like a giant lie, a giant conspiracy? Also, like another one, like clean up after yourself. Um, if you go outside, maybe into a park or whatever, you'll find, at least where I've been, uh, there is a lot of trash, which really make you think. Uh, I guess people don't live by that, huh? I guess that doesn't mean anything to them. At my high school, there was a lot of trash cans. Okay, like the distance between trash cans in some places was probably like 20 feet. That's optimal trash can placement. And I'd even go as far as to say that's too many trash cans. But you know what the amazing part is? There was still somehow litter on the ground. That doesn't make any sense. There is so many trash cans, so there's not even an excuse for there not being trash cans, and yet there is still somehow litter on the ground. And I know that this topic isn't really related, but that just in my opinion, like if you litter, to me that's like you don't respect, you know, your surroundings, you don't really respect where you are. It's a school, and whether you like it or not, you know, I still think you should respect it's like if you go to someone else's house, like you just don't follow the rules, maybe like you leave a freaking soda can on the floor or something. Yeah, like you totally trash their house, like they probably will never let you back in their house. So I don't know, I don't understand why people think it's okay to just, you know, litter and all this stuff. Like it's if you, I promise you, go to a park or something, and you will see, it probably depending on your location, but I guarantee you will see a lot of trash that you did not know that was there. Okay, and funny thing is, I volunteered to like clean up at a park, and we walked down to this like child's portion of the park, and there was like broken pieces of beer bottles like scattered around near the children's area of the park, which was that's really worrying. But the latter half of the video had nothing to do with the main topic of the video. But to summarize, I don't know why Trump is incapable of admitting fault, and not just him. He's a pretty big example, particularly retaining to January 6th. But politicians as a whole, I know it's kind of a running gag to make fun of politicians, but I don't know why they're also incapable of taking responsibility, despite, at least personally, being told many times that you were responsible for your own actions. And I don't know why this doesn't apply to politicians and adults in general, but you know, uh, that's all I gotta say. Uh, Hopefully this wasn't too convoluted. This is my first uh, video like this. I didn't really plan it out. I literally just wrote like six quick notes on a Google Docs. Uh, so hopefully the point that I was trying to make got across.